Guys, welcome back to another video, and this week I have for you breakfast recipes. They are all low calorie. We're talking I'm not going to give like the specific amounts, but we're talking like all of these are under 400 calories, and they're all super dessert inspired, and some of them will be perfect for autumn. We're going to have all the autumn vibes with some of these recipes. So I have for you 3 recipes that you can prep the night before. I have 1 recipe on the go, and then 2 recipes that, you know, if you've got a bit more time in the mornings, we can spend a bit longer on. So I hope you enjoy. Okay, so this first recipe is one that I make all the time. If you're returning to this channel, you probably have already seen me make this. So this is my copycat Starbucks overnight oats, and I'm going to show you how I make that. Okay, here I have everything you need to make the Starbucks overnight oats. So you're going to need some porridge oats or rolled oats, some chia seeds, your kind of milk of preference. We've got some fat-free natural yogurt and some peach slices. These are peach slices from a tin. If you're a bit better in the kitchen than I am, please feel free to just go for a fresh peach, like a normal peach. I think you'll probably only need 1. And I also have here some raspberries. So I buy my raspberries from frozen and I leave them out to defrost. So these are all defrosted now. And of course you need a container to stick everything in. Okay, so if any of you guys know me, you know that I don't really tend to measure anything out. So this is going to be kind of like down to your own personal preference. I think at one point along the line, like the first time I make something, I probably would have measured everything out at one point, and then just kind of continue to eyeball it. So at one point it probably was measured. So the first thing you want to do is take your porridge oats, and you don't need too many. More. So this is how many I like to go for. Okay, so next I take the chia seeds. Okay, next you're going to take your milk of choice. You don't need too much milk at all. The idea is you just kind of want to get these a bit damp, I guess, like a bit soaked. The kind of key thing with this recipe is you don't want it to be too like wet. Now you're going to take some natural yogurt. So when I've seen people make similar recipes for overnight oats, I've seen a lot of people do like milk instead of yogurt or yogurt instead of milk. However, I like to do both just because of the texture. Like 1 really big tablespoon of natural yogurt. And again, I'm just going to mix that in. So I don't like layer it on top or anything. I mix it in. Okay, next you're going to take some frozen raspberries. I'm not going to use all of these because I need some of them for a different recipe. But this is where I kind of like to start layering things. So I'm going to take probably again like a really big teaspoon of raspberries and kind of form a layer with it. And now you're going to take your peaches. Basically what you want to do with your peaches is obviously remove the lid. So I just take a can of peaches and I kind of roughly eyeball how many I want, and I just drain them off over the sink in a sieve. This is how many I've gone for. And again, the kind of draining them off and putting them in a sieve is quite important, because with this recipe you really don't want everything to be too wet. Okay, what I've done is I've just taken a knife and I've just like really roughly like chopped them all up into some smaller pieces, just so it's easier to eat. And then the peaches go on top, and I like to have quite a few peaches on mine. So your oat milk, your yogurt, your raspberries, and the peaches on top. And once you've done that, the lid goes on top and it goes in the fridge. Okay, so you should have something that looks like this. This is ready to go in the fridge. What I tend to do with like these particular overnight oats, if I'm not going to have these tomorrow, I definitely will need to eat them the following day. I don't like to keep this particular combination in the fridge for more than 2 days. That's a personal preference. I just don't like everything like all sat like this for such a long time. So that's just my preference. So it's going to go in the fridge. Breakfast number 2 is another overnight recipe, and we're going to be making raspberry and white chocolate inspired cheesecake. Here is everything you will need to make this. So we're going to need some Weetabix, and again, milk of your choice, some fat-free natural yogurt, defrosted or fresh raspberries, and some white chocolate. And of course something to obviously make it in. You can use more of like a cylinder tub, like the last recipe, if you want to. However, I find like a square tub is much better for this recipe, just because it's easier to pick up like all of the layers in one spoonful, but it's entirely up to you. Okay, so first things first, you're going to take your Weetabix. So messy, but you're going to need 2, and this is going to be the base of our cheesecake. It's very messy. And what you're going to do, you've got your 2 Weetabix, and you're just going to crunch it all up. This can be quite satisfying. So you've got something that looks like this. You're going to take your milk of choice. And again, like the previous recipe, you don't want too much milk, because if this gets too soggy, it does just ruin it. So basically what the idea is, you want all of the Weetabix to be a little bit moist. You definitely don't want to soak it, just so it's all going to stick together. And then you kind of squash it all down to make the cheesecake base. And I'm just using the back of a tablespoon. You're going to take directly on top of the Weetabix, you're going to take your frozen raspberries. It's entirely up to you how much of this you want to use. I like to have just quite a thin layer because these can be quite sour, so I find you don't really need too much anyway. And again, you're going to form a layer with the raspberries just all over that Weetabix. So I've now got something that looks like this. You're now going to take your fat-free natural yogurt. So this is 1 tablespoon, and I think I'll do 1 more. And that's our next layer. Okay, so that's the 3rd layer. And then finally, we're going to use our white chocolate. So this is my white chocolate, and I'm going to take just 1 kind of line, if that makes sense, if you know what I'm saying. So then I'm just going to break this up into small pieces into like a microwavable bowl or dish, and I'm going to pop this in the microwave for about 30-second bursts, just till it's melted. What you want to do, guys, is you just want to keep checking on it and keep stirring it, because if you're doing this in the microwave like me, the minute the white chocolate burns, that's it, basically completely ruined. So just keep checking on it and keep stirring it around. Okay, so this is my white chocolate pretty much all melted, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a spoon and kind of drizzle it on top. Okay, so you've hopefully got something that looks like this. So the lid goes on, and that goes in the fridge overnight. And basically what happens is that melted chocolate is going to harden overnight, and there you have it. Our 3rd recipe, which is going to be the last like overnight kind of recipe, we're going to make lemon cheesecake. And again, for this you will need milk of your choice, fat-free natural yogurt, 0 sugar, or like a reduced sugar kind of like digestive biscuit, some lemon curd, lotus biscuit, and we're gonna use 1 lemon just for some zest to go on top and something to put it in. Okay, so we're gonna start by taking 4 of these digestive biscuits, and exactly like what we did with the Weetabix, we're just gonna crumble it all up, and this is gonna be our cheesecake base. If you prefer, you can put these in like a Ziploc bag and crush them up that way, but I just find this more fun. Okay, so this is 3 crushed up digestives, and you're going to take like the tiniest bit of milk of your choice. All we want to do is get this kind of mixture a little bit damp so that we can squash it all down. Okay. Now we're going to take our lemon curd. And because this is quite sweet, I'm not going to use too much at all. I'm going to do like the most thin layer. Okay. Next, we're going to take our fat-free natural yogurt. And this is our next layer. So this is 2 tablespoons of the yogurt. So that's how it's looking with the yogurt layer. Now we're going to take just 1 of these lotus biscuits. So just 1, and we're just going to crumble it on top. Okay, and just to finish things off, I'm going to take like a grater and a lemon, and we're not going to use the whole lemon, but I'm just going to get a bit of lemon zest on the top there, just to finish it off. Okay, and this is how it's looking at the end. It can be quite deceiving because it looks like, you know, from the side it looks like there's hardly anything to it, but honestly, because of how sweet it is, and also it's just like one of those breakfasts where you kind of eat this and you feel so full afterwards, so it does look deceiving. But the lid just goes on top, and we stick that in the fridge overnight. Recipe number 4 is perfect for anybody who's on the go. This is really quick to make, and you can eat it straight away. There's no need to leave it in the fridge overnight or cook anything or prepare anything. This is going to be a banoffee pie inspired breakfast, and here's how you make this. You will need, once again, your Weetabix, and if you're someone who doesn't really like Weetabix, you could try it with the crushed digestives like the last recipe. However, this is going to be the last recipe using Weetabix, so don't worry. So I've got some protein pudding, and this is caramel flavour. A small banana, milk of your choice, and I've got some 35% lighter cream, squirty cream, and this is what I'm going to be making it in. So one last time, 2 Weetabix biscuits, and crushing them up at the bottom of the container, and this is our banoffee pie base. Again, take the milk of your choice, and once again, all we want to do is kind of gently soak the Weetabix so that we can get it all to stick together and pat it all down. If you haven't made this recipe before, just start off by adding tiny amounts of milk, like less than what you probably think you will need, because of course you can always add more milk, but once you've added too much, that's it, basically ruined. So just add less if you're not sure, and you can always go back in with more. Okay, so do you see how when we first did this, it almost looked like we had too much Weetabix, but once you squash everything down with the back of a spoon, you've got about this much to work with. Next, I'm going to take the protein pudding. And I'm just going to smooth that out. Take your small banana. You're just going to chop off some banana pieces. I rarely would use a whole banana. And it's kind of up to you how many slices you want to pop on the top there. So you've got your banana slices on the top, so your Weetabix, your protein pudding, your banana, and we're just going to top it off with some cream. And there you have it. That was honestly so quick to make. Look how delicious it looks, and it's perfect for anyone who's like me and has a bit of a sweet tooth. So I'm going to enjoy this now. I'm really excited to show you the last two recipes. These are both giving like autumnal, autumn vibes. So we're going to be making apple pie porridge. Once again, here's everything that you're going to need to make the apple pie porridge. So you need some porridge oats, milk of your choice, and you need some cinnamon, an apple. I haven't made this recipe enough times to be able to tell you whether or not the type of apple you use makes a difference at all. But this, I think, is just a crisp apple. You're going to need two microwavable like bowls or dishes. The vegetable peeler is optional. However, I like to use this, and obviously a knife to cut up your apple. Okay, so I'm going to start by peeling the apple. The reason why I like to do this is because, one, we don't want to use the skin of the apple for this, and I find that by using the peeler you can get as close as possible to like the actual apple, and you just have more apple. So I'm going to peel. Here is the peeled apple, and I'm now just going to cut this into pieces like so, and just try and cut as close to like the core as possible if you would like more fruit for this. And I'm just going to really roughly chop them into smaller bits. Okay, so this is roughly the size that I've cut everything into. And you're going to take that microwavable bowl or dish. And then you take your cinnamon. And again, this is all down to personal preference, but you're just going to sprinkle some cinnamon over the apple. And I'm just going to stir that round with a spoon, just so all parts of like the apple are equally as covered. So that is how much I have chosen to go for. Okay, so I'm going to put this in the microwave for, I'm going to try for 1 minute and see how it comes out, because obviously the chunks are really quite small. Okay, while that's in the microwave, I'm now going to prep the porridge. So for the porridge, so you just want to kind of pour in the usual amount that you would normally make for a porridge. And pour in as much milk as you like. And I'm just going to make sure basically all the oats are covered. And then this is ready to go in the microwave when the apple is done. Okay, this is what the apple looks like when it's come out of the microwave. You can probably see like all that heat coming off there. So some bits are looking like a little bit yellow, almost like you would with a cooking apple, which is what we want. And this smells, oh my god, it smells incredible. Like, even if you don't end up liking this recipe, it just makes your house smell really nice and autumnal. So The apple is really quite hot, so I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to swap over the porridge, put the porridge in the microwave till it's as cooked as I would like it, and then by the time the porridge is done, this will be cooled down a little bit. Okay, just while I wait for the porridge to cook in the microwave, I'm just going to take the back of a spoon and just kind of squash down this apple. Okay, so that's everything like really roughly mashed up with a fork. Okay, so that porridge has been in the microwave for a couple of minutes, and then all you're going to do to finish it off is empty out the apple on top. I like to mix everything up. If you would like, you can top this off with some maple syrup and some more cinnamon. I'm just going to leave mine like this. And this is your apple pie porridge. Okay, so last but not least, our last recipe is going to be peach and cinnamon baked oats, which is great for autumn. So the only thing that I've gone ahead and done is I've preheated my oven to 180 degrees. Here's what you need to make peach baked oats. Okay, so you're going to need some porridge oats, just a little bit of salt, milk of your choice, a little bit of baking powder, and maple syrup. This is optional. You can even replace that with honey or golden syrup. You're going to need a small banana, something to mix everything in, something to bake the oats and eat it out of, and I'm going to be using a handheld blender to mix everything in here because somehow I managed to lose like the lid for my NutriBullet thing, so just something that you can mix everything up with. And I forgot to mention that you would also need a little bit of cinnamon and of course some sliced peaches. I used tin peaches like I have in the other recipes, but again, go ahead and use a fresh peach if you would like, and just cut up as many slices as you want to put on top of everything. Okay, so first I'm taking the porridge oats, and you can measure this out if you would like. I think this is how much I'm gonna roughly use to make. I'm just going to use like the same amount of porridge oats that you would to make like a bowl of porridge. Next you want to take your small banana, and again this is optional, but I'm actually going to cut this into little pieces just so it's a bit easier for my like handheld blender to mix everything up. And you're going to take your milk of choice. Again, I'm just adding the same amount of milk that you would to like make a bowl of porridge. You don't need to add too much just because you have the banana is going to make everything a bit like wet and sticky to help everything stick together as well, so you don't need too much. A little bit of syrup. Okay, I just put a little bit of cinnamon in there. You're going to take like the tiniest bit of salt, so I'd say a pinch of salt. A teaspoon of baking powder, and now you're ready to blend everything. Okay, now you've got a consistency that looks a little bit like this. Some of my bananas have not like completely chopped up very well, but I'm not too bothered about that. Use a oven dish to pour the mixture into and bake it in. So this is everything in the oven dish. I'm now going to place my peach slices on top. Okay, and I'm just going to take like one final bit of cinnamon to dust on top, and just on top of the peaches. Okay, so here's how everything is looking. So the oven was preheated to 180 degrees, and I'm going to put this in the oven for 20 minutes. Okay, after 20 minutes, this is how everything looks when it's just come out of the oven, and not only does it look amazing, but it smells amazing as well. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you got some ideas or inspiration from this. I'd really like to know if you're able to give any of these a go, and let me know what you think. I will see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching.